Welcome back to Talking Marvel. In today's video, we're going to discuss the very interesting comments made by Guardians of the Galaxy director James Gunn regarding the power of the Guardians versus the Avengers. He stated that, "I always thought that the Guardians would beat the shit out of the Avengers easily." That is a big statement that you might agree with or you might not. I'm here to get to the bottom of it and see just how right or wrong he is. The only supporting argument that Gunn presented was the idea that the Guardians are from outer space and their technology is pretty advanced, so it would be hard to beat them. First off, I don't believe that Gunn has much of a concept of the heroes the MCU has brought in, as Captain Marvel or Thor alone would defeat the entire Guardians, the original team that is, as they are very powerful. Star-Lord is a human with a bit of technology and no powers, since he lost his celestial powers in Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Rocket is an advanced raccoon that also uses technology. But at his core, he is just a very mentally advanced rodent. Drax is strong, but that's about it. Mantis is also powerful, but as seen with Thanos and Ego, she needs the element of surprise to get any advantage against a powerful opponent and calm their mind, really just playing aggressive defense and no offense. Gamora, like Drax, is just strong and a skilled fighter, but the last two, Nebula and Groot, provide the biggest threat of the original Guardians. Nebula has the strength of Gamora or Drax, but has been upgraded. Her arm is very lethal and able to transform into any weapon she wants. But defensively, she's just as vulnerable as the others. Groot has been growing and also growing much more powerful over the movies since he was Baby Groot, and a couple of new forms were shown in the third Guardians movie. While at normal size throughout the movie, he went kaiju mode on Counter-Earth, growing immensely in size. Then, in the post-credit scene, he became what I like to call King Groot. But let's take into account that these comments that Gunn made, that the Guardians would dominate the Avengers, came before the release of the movie, meaning he's talking about the original crew and excluding Groot's King Groot form, Adam Warlock, Phyla-Vell, Cosmo, or Kraglin. To be fair, the Guardians have actually had powerful villains in their three movies between Ronan, with and without the Power Stone, Ego, a Celestial, and the High Evolutionary, while managing the Ravagers, Sovereign, and Adam Warlock on the side. As a team, I do believe that they're actually pretty powerful, but anytime they're alongside the Avengers on the big screen, they aren't. There are a few examples that clearly support this point that I'll now get into. The first example that is so clear for everyone to witness came at the start of Thor Love and Thunder, while Thor was still with the Guardians helping out around the universe. Thor was at the point where he was just relaxing while the Guardians handled a situation with the peaceful tribe having their sacred shrine overtaken. They were having a lot of trouble without Thor, and when the God of Thunder asked how things were going, Drax said, "Horrible, we're all about to die." They were scrambling and hiding behind rocks trying to hold off the attack while Thor was just walking in the line of fire, chatting the team up when he decided to join them on the battlefield. While the Guardians just stood there bored and not helping, after Thor took over, he did what all of them combined couldn't do and took out all the enemies alone with just Stormbreaker and his fists. The second example is when half of the Guardians meet up with some of the Avengers on Titan to battle Thanos. Before we get into how Thanos easily dismantles the Guardians while having a hard time with the three Avengers, I'd first like to mention how the Avengers were ambushed and still had the advantage over the Guardians on the ship. Star-Lord is the only one who did any damage among him, Drax, and Mantis, and you guessed it, it was just because of a few pieces of technology. He used one piece to magnetize Iron Man to an object, which he got out of in seconds, then an electric trap to subdue Spider-Man. Mantis took 4 web shots from Spider-Man and was out of the battle immediately, while Drax was taken out by Doctor Strange's cape without any powers needed. While it essentially became a 2-on-1 with a hostage situation, Star-Lord didn't present a threat after he started talking and Iron Man and Strange realized where they were from. If they didn't, Iron Man had a hand free and Strange was fully freed up to win the fight, but that's just the tip of the interaction on Titan. While the Guardians and 3 Avengers didn't face each other again, they did battle Thanos with 4 Infinity Stones. They all played their parts and were mostly equally useful before subduing Thanos, except for Mantis, who only joined in to weaken him to take the gauntlet off. While Mantis was thrown and Drax was kicked into Star-Lord and Nebula before taking a Power Stone attack and taking them out, Iron Man, Spider-Man, and Doctor Strange stayed in the fight. Spider-Man worked to keep the Guardians alive and safe, while Strange and Iron Man put up valiant fights. This again shows the very different levels the Avengers and Guardians are on. Next up is the scene in Endgame where Star-Lord struggles to take out just a few of the weakest minions in Thanos' army and is saved, but on many occasions on the very same battlefield, different Avengers are taking on multiple enemies by themselves. Take Black Panther for example here, or Doctor Strange for example here, or Spider-Man here. I could go on, but you get the point. While the Guardians might look strong in their own movies, when side by side with the Avengers, they don't stack up. The final example here is on the battlefield in Avengers Infinity War, as we get to see Groot and Rocket in action, but also certain members of the Avengers. While Groot and Rocket hold their own, they're nothing special. This could easily be because they're not the main focus in this movie once everyone gets to Wakanda, but also because they weren't incredibly powerful at that time. There's a few undeniable points where we are shown just how deadly some of the Avengers are. War Machine drops a carpet bomb on the Grunts to kick off the battle and continues to mow them down while the barrier was opened. Thor comes in hot and obviously takes out a ton at once with his lightning. Then to top it off, Wanda finally joins the battle to stop the machines tearing through the field and takes out numerous ground troops in the process. Take any 7 Avengers versus the 7 main Guardians and there's almost no contest. The way the MCU portrayed all the characters, James Gunn was way off in his assessment of the Guardians, but that's because they were the topic of conversation and he definitely wanted to hype them up. After these examples I gave, what are your thoughts on the narrative that the Guardians could beat the shit out of the Avengers? Share what you think. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.